I think you make a good point, and I think whether South Africans have this concept that they do, for example, in the United States, if a US president gets voted into power, even those who did not vote for that president become highly patriotic and tend to support the president's election. Doesn't matter what party the president comes from. Now, the real issue here is whether Mr. Zuma can win over those South Africans who have been skeptical of him or perhaps did not vote for him. And we saw at the opening, at the swearing-in session of Mr. Zuma only recently this week, he reached out his hand to all South Africans. He reached out his hand in particular to opposition political parties in South Africa. In other words, the minorities, because, of course, minority groups in South Africa still largely vote for opposition parties like the Democratic Alliance. So we saw Zuma take a very reconciliatory approach his first words, and in a sense we saw it reciprocated by the major official opposition, the Democratic Alliance, and certainly from the outset it seems as though a much better relationship can be forged between the president of the country and the leader of the ANC and the opposition. You must remember that under the previous president, Thabo Mbeki, relations between Mbeki and the then leader of the opposition, Tony Leon, were particularly poor. The two hardly met, they hardly acknowledged each other, certainly in the parliamentary sense. And already virtually on day one, it looks as though we could have a much better relationship between government and opposition. But of course, time will tell. These, of course, are exceptionally early days.